Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Today we are going to be taking a look at Fastly stock. Now, I'm going to pull up on screen now some information about Fastly. They're a cloud computing company. They're based in America. And like every single stock out there, which is obviously what's causing this whole kind of speculation about a massive bubble, Fastly year on year, from March 2020 to now has gone up threefold. And I mean, even fivefold, really. And it's kind of scary to think how much value has been added onto the share price relative to how much revenues have increased and all stuff like that. But I think Fastly is a very, very big company. They've got so many different things going for them. And you can see that ever since June 2020, they've been hovering around the $70 mark to the $116, $120 mark. But essentially, the thing I like about Fastly is there is room for small-term profits to be made, short-term profits even, because the fluctuations of $100 to $80, back to $110, back to $70, back to $126, down to $65. Like, the fluctuations are consistently the same throughout this last 6-7 months. Now, I'm no financial advisor, but I do think it's kind of interesting seeing how, knowing the information that historically it's been proven that patterns are likely to repeat themselves, and clearly in this instance they are. I recently took a position in about $75, only a tiny percent, I think like maybe 1% of my portfolio, or maybe even less. Yeah, about 1.2% of my portfolio. I'm no financial advisor, do not copy me. But let's take a look at Fastly in general. So over the 5-year period, they only really came onto the stock market in 2019. Their IPO was probably around this sort of range, probably a bit lower because stuff tends to boom after IPO days. Their 52-week low is $10. I'd love to have got in there. But their revenue and their market cap. Let's take a look. Their market cap's $7.82 billion, which it's a very large firm. It is a large firm, but I think there's other firms out there that are a lot bigger. So with $8 billion, it's a safe bet that they've got a lot of stuff going on, but equally there's still room for growth. So revenue 2020, $290.87 million. The growth there is very, very healthy. It's gone from 100 million 3 years ago, doubled, almost tripled to now. Their orange line, which means their net income, has obviously decreased year on year because obviously the bigger the company gets, the more they have to essentially offer out there to develop their services. Is a very common thing. I think that net income is probably down due to investing. They plan to offer 750 million more private note offerings to issue more stock to raise more capital to subsequently develop further with their business model. So very much short term, that always seems to have negative effects, but long term it is kind of very good. I mean, these other variables here, cash in hand is standard. Operating income down. That's slightly worrying, to be honest with you. Down 86 million, or just negative 86 million really. But let's take a look at a few other stats. So another thing I like about Fastly is that their analysts, the 10 analysts, so these guys are the professionals unlike me, their average target is $85, which represents a 10%, now about 20% increase, I believe, from the current price of $69. Their lows are $50 and their upsides $110 for their max, the range obviously. But these ranges are very distorted a lot of the time because just to obscure market things, people deliberately predict very low and some people predict very high. Example, Barry on Tesla predicts $100. Tesla's never going back to $100. Maybe 150, who knows? Doubt it, 100. So the broker forecasts are quite valuable in this situation. And let's take a look at TradingView. So TradingView on Fastly, we can take a look here on the graph. We're currently looking at let's go to the 1 month view, 3 month view, and we can see that recently, let's draw a trend line here. Trend line going down from the peak all the way down to where we are now. We'll change that to a nice bright yellow. And then we're going to get an angle tool out and we're going to have a look at the trend angle here because, it's not ideal. So we can see that it's about a 66-degree fall over recent weeks. There is a big fall since the start, between now and the start of Feb. But let's also take a look at historical falls. So it's a similar sort of thing here, $100 and something down to 80. Not as big of a fall, but it's still there. Let's take a look at this. So from the top to the bottom, We'll leave that on yellow again. And basically what we're doing now, we're trying to determine if what we're seeing right now in the market has historically happened before. And you can almost see that yes, the drop last time was 6 degrees. This one's 64 degrees. They are very, very similar. Obviously, if we pulled it over here to less of the peak, it would be steeper. And this is the sort of thing that seems to happen a lot with Fastly. This one looks like it was even more volatile. I mean, this one's gone from, when was this? This was 13th of October 2020, $134 down to 63. That is a huge dip, and then it always seems to come back. Now, this must be a very speculative stock because, you know, these are consistently changing like half the value of the company. The market cap's doubling, halving consistently. That is the only reason why I personally, as I say, I'm not a financial person, I'm not qualified, do not listen to anything I do. Everything you should look at should be done on your own financial basis. Please read the full disclaimer in the description. But essentially, what I'm saying is that Fastly seems to always do this. 3 times in the last year it's happened. One of these times it might fully collapse, who actually knows? But for me, I just want to take the risk and try and essentially capture a small 20 quid here or there. You know, I'm not going big on it because, you know, this is based on minimal market research about the company, minimal sector research. I'm basing it purely on historical patterns, as we can see right here. And for me, I'm not even looking to capture this whole thing. I think as soon as I hit 10%, 20%, as soon as I hit about 15, 20% profit, I'll be out of there because I've done this before with Fastly, and every time I could have held on for longer and made more money, but at the end of the day, I should be happy with what I have made. And that's what I'll say. So that is my current plan with Fastly. The stock itself, cloud computing is a very speculative, very competitive, and very ever-changing industry. The only concerning thing about Fastly is its recent rise from March 2020 to October 2020. That's the slight worry that I have. Obviously, there's a lot more retail investment coming into the industry now, into the markets. But Fastly isn't a very, very big name like the likes of Tesla, Apple, stuff like that. So I think it's a good stock. I'm happy to risk having money in there, and I'm happy to buy if it falls down lower, the number one rule, because I do believe in the industry and I think it's a good company on my minimal research that I've done. I do not value it enough, and I'm not sure enough to invest loads in it. And my biggest concern is that the stock market bubble pops, if there is one, not confirmed, and Fastly crumbles with it. But hey, risk and reward, isn't it? It's a very interesting stock. I've noticed as well more recently, a lot of things I've been using online has started to say that powered by Fastly. So I was, like, okay, cool, Fastly's kind of getting out there even in my environment, which I found very interesting. And I would love to know what its beta score is. Google, it's not giving me a PE ratio, but yeah, it's such a new stock that it doesn't really have that much data, to be honest. A lot of Fastly is factored, its growth, a lot of Fastly's growth is factored into it. Year range, 10 to 136, that's a 13 times increase. 1,300% increase you could have made, jeez. The recent news is all about the dip. Like the fintech Zoom says buying opportunity. Let's have a look at what they say, because I want to see their reason for saying it's a buying opportunity. There's growth here, they're saying. So right now they're saying Fastly contracts are short term. Hopefully over time they'll become long term. It has a vast future ahead. Young growth investors should seek a way into it. It's interesting. I think, it's a stock that I don't mind holding. I don't know where it's going to go in the future. 8 billion's not, it's a hefty valuation. It is, but hey, I'm here for it. I am here for it, But yeah, let me know what you guys think about Fastly down in the comments below. And I will catch you all again very, very soon with more stock reviews.